on, son.
Raphael on the track.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son.
What up, y'all? It's Ed Lover, back with another episode of Come On, Son, the podcast, brought to you by CigarsInternational.com. Make sure you check out Cigars International. Father's Day is coming up, and I will have a discount code coming up on CigarsInternational.com. If your father loves cigars the way I love cigars, then you might want to make sure he's taken care of for Father's Day, okay? CigarsInternational.com. And speaking of Father's Day, I'm a father. My daughter just turned 18. She had her prom last Friday, and it was on her 18th birthday. So congratulations goes out to my little girl, Summer Rain Roberts, on her prom, and she's graduating from high school on June 21st. And I just graduated another daughter, Jasmine, with her BA in international business. So I'm very proud of my children. They're doing really, really well. And my son is at Seton Hall University going into his junior year. Real happy about that, being a father. Being a father is one of the greatest joys that I've ever had in my life. And I've been a dad since I was 20. And I looked at my son the other day. I was like, damn, dude, you could say about it. I mean, you really could be a father, and ain't too much I could say about it. You know, because at your age, I was already a dad. I love being a dad. I love taking care of my children. I love watching them grow. I love everything about being a father. I love the word dad, daddy, everything. One of the greatest things I've ever heard is somebody say, I love you, daddy. So that means the world to me. Here's the one thing I don't like about being a father: child support. To me, for good men, child support is the worst thing that could ever happen to us, man. I'm telling you. Now, a lot of ladies out there are going to hate what I'm about to say, but there needs to be a reprieve in the child support laws. I mean, absolutely needs to be changes made to the child support laws. And I'm going to tell you why. Because for every terrible father that doesn't pay child support, us good fathers that do pay our child support on time and help raise our kids and do things outside of child support, like making sure your kid is on your insurance for medical, dental, and what have you. Always making sure the kids are taken care of, taking them to school shopping, doing all of that stuff, and putting money in their pocket when they become of age like my children are and they just need extra money. There needs to be a reprieve in child support. There need to be some new laws put into place for child support. There really, really does. And I know a lot of ladies might listen to the podcast. I mean, I understand you. I really do. I can't not stand a man that has a child with a woman and doesn't pay child support. I can't stand that just as much as I can't stand a woman who tells a man once they're in a relationship and she finds herself with child. And you have the discussion, and the man says, well, I'm not ready to have a baby right now. And she goes, well, I'm not going to need you to do anything. I'm going to have my baby. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then when the baby comes, she sues him for child support. He told you he didn't want a baby. Now, don't give me that it takes two to tango. We all know how children are made. Our parents had sex. I know you don't want to think about it, but close your eyes, all right? Your mother and father fucked, okay? Let's just be blatant and clear about it. Your mother and father fucked in order for you to get here. Okay? Let's be absolutely clear. That being said, okay, if you decide as a woman to bring a child into this world and the man clearly states from you that he does not want a child, he doesn't wish to be a child, and you state to him that you don't need him to do anything, don't wait 5 years down the line and then take him to court for child support. You already made the agreement. You already took it upon yourself to have a child. A lot of women are going to hate this podcast. They're not going to like what I have to say about this podcast. But you bear the majority of the responsibility for a child being born. You do. And if you fuck up and have a baby with the wrong dude, then that's on you. It's not on him. It's on you. Yeah, it's on him to take care of his child. If you get with a guy and y'all are messing around and he's a decent guy and he does what he can do and you guys decide to have a baby and then he leaves you, that's fucked up. Those guys should always have to pay their child support, and we all should have to pay our child support. I'm not complaining about the fact that I have to pay child support. I'm complaining about the fact that I have to suffer for the bad deeds of some men, and I don't think it's fair. And any other good man out there that's been paying his child support and taking care of his kids their entire lives will tell you the exact same thing. There needs to be changes in the child support law. Change number one, child support has to stop being free money. I fucking cannot stand it. I might as well just take my money and flush my shit down the toilet. I get no tax breaks. I get no tax breaks at all. I can't write it off. There's nothing I can do with it. And it's free fucking money for women. I can't stand the fact that there are no regulations in place as to what has to be done with that money. I hate that. I hate it. Hate it with a passion. I believe in my heart, and I'm being generous here. At first I said 50, but then I was like, you know what? 50% may be a little too high. Let me go with 40%. I believe that for every dollar a woman gets in child support, 40% of the money should go into a trust for the child once the child support is over. I hate the fact that child support is free money. Ask anybody that's in a higher tax bracket if they like the fact that child support is free money. The woman doesn't even have to declare it on her taxes. It's absolute free money. Free. I don't care if it's $250 a week. I don't care if it's $500 a week. I don't care if it's $1,000 a month. I don't care if it's $2,000 a month, $6,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month. Free money. What does a child need with $20,000 a month? It's just free money for the woman. And you take it and you fuck it up and you do whatever you want to do with it. And then later on in life, in most cases, and these are mostly from my experience, ladies, so if you're different, God bless you. Don't come jumping down my throat because you're the different one. All right? In most cases, by the time it's time for the child to go to college, women don't have the money for it. And you've been getting child support. Take some of the money, okay, 40% of it, and put it in a trust for the child. It's not your support. It's the child support. It's not for you to pay your rent with. It's not for you to pay your car note with. You're supposed to be contributing something to the child support too. It's supposed to be, our child support is supposed to 100% go to the child. And 90% of the time it doesn't turn out that way. It's real, especially if you're getting a nice piece of money. Especially if you get up into them $1,500s to $2,000 to $2,500 to $3,000, $6,000 a month, like I used to have to pay $6,000 a month. Okay, that was not child support, and my kids were little. Okay, and then by the time it turned around, time for them to go to college, guess what? In every single case, from my oldest daughter to my second born daughter, every time, if it was $1,000 a month. Now, what would be wrong with 40% of that money going to a trust for the kid? You got the 60%. Do what you want to do with the 60%, but at least as a good man and as a good father, we would know that at the end of it all right, that the child has some kind of money. Something. Not money that you could carry a car note with. Not money to pay your rent. Well, it's not just for me. It's for the baby, too. You know how I know that's fucking bullshit? And I'm going to tell you how I know it's bullshit. Because ask any man that's had this experience. Go to your baby mother and go, well, if you can't handle it, I'm in a better position than you are. Let me raise him. Let me raise my son. Let me raise my daughter. You ain't taking my baby. Oh, all of a sudden it's your baby. But when it comes time to take care of it, it's our baby. That's a double standard, stupid bullshit. There needs to be some changes in the child support law. Now, for every woman out there that has a child that got a deadbeat dad, I can dig it. You deserve to get some child support. But you also should take some of that money and put it to the side for your child for when they get older. You also should do that. Okay? And for everybody out there, whether you're a man or a woman, and you're using your child as a pawn, you're a piece of shit. You're a fucking abusive parent. You're being abusive towards your child, and you don't even realize it. Oh, if I can't, you ain't gonna be with me no more, shorty. Then fuck that baby. I ain't taking care of no baby. If you ain't gonna be with me, you fucking with other niggas. The relationship is over, homeboy. And I hate using that N word so blatantly. But bruh, the relationship is over. If she's moved on, then fine. Oh, he don't do this, he don't do that because he got a baby by somebody else and da. He ain't gonna come around here when he want to and he ain't got no money. See, whether he got money or not, he should be able to have a relationship with his child. Stop holding that because you want some money. I'm doing this all by myself. Well, if he ain't got no job and he ain't working, what kind of dude did you have a baby with in the first place? That's a reflection on you. People need to start understanding that about themselves. It's a reflection on you. I totally understand, okay, that my daughter's mothers are a reflection on me. I slept with them. I didn't have to. That's a reflection on me. So for me to run around bad-mouthing them, to me, it makes me look stupid. Because it's like, what kind of choices did you make? You made the choice to sleep with them. You made the choice to nut in them. Okay? Some of us all come from that kind of a home where, well, I don't. I come from a two-parent home. Thank God. I was lucky enough that my father was there the entire time of my life. But sometimes you come from a home where one of the parents will get bad-mouthed and you don't even really know the real. You really don't know the real. And it could be from your mom's side. Your mom is bad-mouthing your father's bad-mouthing your mother. You don't know the dynamics of their relationship. You don't know. You don't know because everybody's going to try to make it look good in their favor. But somebody out there, somebody's mom's was a fucking jump off. Okay? And it's sad and it's painful for you to even think about it. But maybe your father wasn't really, really fucking with your moms like that. Maybe your mom's was something your father was just doing at the time and got caught out there with her. You don't know. So all this bad mouthing going back and forth and back about who's doing what and that's bad parenting. That's bad. You're being abusive to your children for not letting them see the other parent. If you're a man who has custody of your kids, and there's problems with the mom and she's doing this and she's doing that, and you just won't let them see their mother, that's fucking terrible. Because they're going to grow and they're going to regret it and they're going to be mad at you for not letting them have that relationship with their parent. You can't hold that he ain't got no money, he ain't bringing no milk and no Pampers over here, that he ain't seeing his daughter, he ain't seeing his son. You're hurting your own child. And you don't even realize it. You don't realize it because somebody moved on. Say she moved on. She got a new guy. She moved on and got married and did this and did that and did the third. Now you don't want to come around and take care of your kid because there's a new man in her life. That's ridiculous, bro. That's your child. They don't have nothing to do with him. You need to, as a man, sit down and talk to him about the raising and the discipline of your child. And you also need to, as a man, make sure there's some money coming in that house so he can help you with your child. It should fall on him to raise your child. I've been in that situation. I know. Okay? I've been there. My daughter Jasmine is not my biological daughter, but I raised her. I put her through school, put them braces in her mouth with little to zero help from her father. Her father wouldn't even come to the crib. You're being abusive towards your own child. The door was always open. I'm not that kind of dude. I never want to stand between you and your daughter, but now he has a great relationship with his daughter. And it's because she's old enough to handle it now. You know, but I was never the kind of guy, he can't come around here. I don't want to see him. Listen, I lived in a different state. I was like, if you come, well, it was New York and New Jersey, so it's not that far. But if you come and see her and it gets late and y'all go out or something, man, I got extra bedrooms, bro, crash out. Yeah, I'm with your baby moms, bro, but that y'all 15, 20 years removed. Why you still holding on and harboring on this shit, man? It gets really, really complicated when it comes to this, but the good guys always have to suffer for the bad guys. Always. I can't stand to see somebody depending on their kid to get a scholarship when they was getting child support for the whole time that kid was on this earth. The kid is now 18 years old. 18 years of child support. Are you kidding me, yo? 18 years of child support, and you have nothing to show for it when it comes time for your child to go to college? You ought to be ashamed of your damn self. And that's real. That's why I believe 40% of all child support should be put into a trust. You shouldn't be able to just willy-nilly do what you want to do with the money that's meant for your child. You should not be in Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Coach, for even that matter, using your child support money to buy yourself something. It's not for you. It's for the child. Seriously, you should have to. People who have custody of their kids that get child support, whether you're male or female, should have to account for every dime that you spent on support. I know a lot of guys. I've done well in my life and in my career. I know a lot of guys that are on the same financial plane that I'm on, that are kicking out thousands of dollars a month in child support just so some woman can live the high life. It just doesn't make sense to me. But when the shoe is on the other foot, then most women want to get up in arms. You know, and a lot of times a child suffers when a man gets into a certain position and financially the woman is beneath him with his child, and he goes to her and says, listen, I live in a better neighborhood than you do. My kid is in a better schools. I can put her in a better school system. You know, we moved on. I moved on, whatever. As a man, I have a wife now. Let me take my daughter, raise her over here, and put her in that school system. A lot of times, it ain't about whether or not the woman wants to be separated from her child and have visitations. A lot of times, you know what it's about? That fucking check gonna stop. That's what it's about. And you can't pay your rent and you can't pay your bills without my child support. You should be able, as a woman, you should be able, okay, to pay your rent, your bills, all your overhead and everything without the support of anybody but yourself. And if you can't do that, then, sweetheart, you shouldn't have had a baby to begin with. Okay? A lot of times, this shit is a big time selfish thing, man. And you got a child that you have to think about. And on both ends, you have a child. And the reason, I'll go back to what I said before. You bear the brunt of the responsibility more than anybody else. I've heard Iyanla Van Zant say this a million times. And when Iyanla Van Zant says it, women sit there and shake their head and be like, yeah, when I say it, I'm coming from a male chauvinistic perspective. No, I'm not. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. You, in the Bible, women bear the fruit. You carry the child. You have the child. I can't force you to have a child, and I can't force you not to have the child. So the majority of the responsibility is on you. So you really have to take a good, hard, strong look at who are you having a baby with. A lot of times you don't even really know this dude before you ready to have the child. Not even a year. Sometimes not even 2 years, not 5 years, not 10 years. Now, for the women out there that really knew this guy, went to school with him, went through college with him, and then he switched up once you got pregnant, those are the ones I feel bad for. Because they thought they made a conscientious decision with someone and they know. Absolutely not. No way, no shape, no how is it that woman's fault, all right? I feel bad for y'all women. I feel bad for you women who had a kid, was married, with the dude, things was going good. He dipped out, did something foul. All right, y'all divorced, and now he doesn't want to take care of his kids. I feel bad for y'all. I really do. But I still think 40% of the money that you get should go into a trust for your kid. So that when your kid is 18 or when he's emancipated from child support, he has something there. Both parents have to bear the same financial responsibilities for the child. You're not supposed to be not working and collecting child support and living a high life off of somebody else's dime. It's not your money. The money is for the child. That's why it's called child support. That's why they have spousal support. Okay? And another thing, both men and women need to stop doing. Okay? You need to stop getting mad at the other person and moving away and taking a child far away from their parent. You got to stop doing that. That's some bullshit. Why would you take your child that far away? I live in Atlanta now. Zaire is my last two are Zaire and Summer. Well, my last three, Zaire, Summer, and Jasmine. I did not come down here in Atlanta away from them until I completely understood that they were old enough to handle it. I would have never did this if they were 5, 6, 7 years old. They're 18, 20, and almost 22. They're good now. I don't have, I'm still, I don't want to say I don't have as much meaning in their life now, because when they get to that age, it's about their friends. Their friends carry a lot of influence, and that's something you have to be careful for. But I'll save that parenting tip on another podcast. But this podcast, I'm going to talk more about child support, right? So I didn't make this move until I knew that they were old enough to handle it. I didn't even get married for the second time until I knew Zaire and Summer were old enough to handle it. Jasmine's my stepdaughter by my current wife. But I wouldn't get married again until I knew that they were old enough to understand, and I had been away from their mom for a long enough time that they understood, me moving on in my life and being married again. It was really, really comfortable, and I had years and years and years and years and years of a relationship with my current wife. I wasn't going to do my kids like that, but y'all get mad at each other and bounce out the state. Okay? He's working hard, paying you child support, and you done went to fucking California somewhere and he lives in fucking Mississippi. That's not fair to him. That's not fair. And fellas, you need to know something. If you're a good guy and you're out there paying child support for your child, this is what you need to know. You need to go to the court and put in an injunction like I did, because my ex-wife had got mad at me one time. I was talking about moving to California with my 2 children. I put an injunction in, and you can too, in the court, that she cannot move more than 25 miles away from you. I have a really close friend of mine that's been going through this shit his daughter's entire life, paying child support. He had visitation rights in New York. The bitch moved down here to Atlanta, sneak into New York. He wasn't seeing his daughter, and he doesn't have a good relationship with his daughter right now because of the lies her fucking bullshit mom's put in her head about him. And he's a great man. A great man. But you know why she got upset? He didn't want her. Never wanted her from the beginning. Didn't want her, but still stood up like a man, took care of his child, and he found happiness and got married and had another daughter. So that she all up in arms, she breaks out. It comes down to Atlanta with her daughter, okay, with their daughter, but she want to collect the child support, but she don't want to do shit else. That's some bullshit, y'all. That's some straight garbage bullshit. So, gentlemen, if you don't want to go through this, like I knew I wasn't going through this, go down to the court, know your rights, know how far away from them that they can legally move from you, because if they do it anyway, their asses will get arrested. Their asses can and will get arrested for taking your child that far away from you. You have rights as a man. You have to know your rights. You also should know when your child support is finished, because they're not going to tell you, because they like getting free money. So they ain't going to tell you shit. So you should know when the date is that your child support is over. It's different in every single state. You got to know that, okay? But I honestly believe that 40%, I'm going to say it again, 40% of all child support money for good men who pay their child support on time, don't miss payments, everything is good, right? For those of us who do that, 40% of all child support money should go into a trust for the kids later on in life. I honestly believe that. I'm tired of suffering for dudes that don't pay their child support. I'm tired of it. It makes no sense to me at all that at this point in your life that you don't care enough about your child to give your child something. Like, what kind of man are you that you can know you have a child on this earth that you don't take care of? Regardless, man. Regardless of your feelings for the mother or whatever, man, regardless. Okay, if you don't have enough money to regularly pay child support, okay, you got enough money that you can buy something and take over there. And ladies, if you getting that and that's the best he can do, then let him do the best he can do. Let him do the best he can do, because you already knew when you had the baby that the brunt of the responsibility was going to fall on you. And if it comes down to that, let that man do the best he can do. Stop counting other people's money. Stop that. Stop that. But fellas, you got to be smart too. You can't tell her that you don't have a certain amount of money to help her out with for your child, or to pay daycare, or a little simple shit that she asks you to do, but you go out and buy a new car, or you go out and buy $300 J's, or you go out and get gold all up in the front of your mouth, or you go out and you buying a chain. No, your child got to come before all of that, yo. Your child has to come for all of that. And I know that it's tough, because I know that some guys, especially a professional athlete or an entertainer or somebody like that that makes a really great living, who's not with their child's mother anymore, I know you hate kicking out that $10,000, $15,000 a month. And I know you just watching her sitting around on her ass, living a lap of luxury, fucking off your money, and then giving you attitude about your own child. I know that, but see, this is what happens when we don't get to know each other before we even have a child. There's too many things that come into play. What religion are we going to use to raise this kid? You know, where this kid going to live? What kind of neighborhood? What school? Private school? Public school? You might think public school is cool, but because she getting a lot of money, she wants you to pay for private school. You're like, come on, like, the fuck out of here. That's why 40% of all child support checks need to be put into a trust for the children. So when they get to a certain age and they want to go to college, or they finish high school, they just want a car. They should have money sitting there to buy something. At least put a down payment on something. Especially if you're getting it on a regular basis. Then we have to turn around and try to scrounge up some money for them to go to college. You're going to pay well over shits, in some cases, $500,000, $600,000. And I know there's a lot of women out there that might be listening and be like, damn, I just wish that my baby father was giving me anywhere near $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $6,000 a month, $15,000 a month, $18,000 a month. But that money has to be there for the child. The money is not for the parent, on both sides of the coin. On both sides of the coin. There's men out there that have custody of their children. But y'all look at us crazy if we ask for child support. If we have a good job and full custody of our children, we looked upon as being nuts if we taking a woman to court for child support because she's not paying nothing. It's just ridiculous. Like, we really got to take our time out, folks, okay, on both sides of the coin. I'm going to say this, men and women. We have to take our time out and really, really know the person that we are going to have a child with. 9 times out of 10, we don't know them. We ain't been together long enough. A year is not long enough. To me, 2 years ain't long enough. All right? 5 years, you pretty much know somebody. Been through some stuff with them, you know? Little ups and downs, sideways, side turns. You see who they are. We're too quick to jump, and then we bring in another life into this world. It's not a puppy. It's not a dog you could take to the shelter because you don't want it anymore. This is a human being. And we constantly argue back and forth and back and forth and back about the child. The man is going to argue with you. Yo, what are you doing with my money? Why are you sending my daughter over here looking crazy? How come every time I got to take the kids on vacation, you don't send the kids no money? But when you get ready to take the kid on vacation, you constantly calling my phone for money. Why is it like that? Because we don't even know each other. Money makes shit funny. Everybody know that. Everybody know that. You could put a measly $10,000 between two people and watch them turn on each other like a motherfucker. And $10,000 ain't no money. And then $10,000 ain't shit. Ain't shit. You ain't gonna buy no house nowhere for $10,000. So stop getting gassed up, man. But there really needs to be some things done with the child support, man. The child support does not favor good men. And I'm tired of suffering. And I know every good man that's out there listening to this podcast that does the best that he can do, that takes care of his child to the best of his ability, feels the same way. Why are we suffering for deadbeat dads? If you deadbeat, that's you. Do your thing. Got nothing to do with me. I ain't do the shit. You know what I mean? I didn't do the shit. So do you, man. And everybody out there, man, take care of your kids, man. And ladies, please put some money away for your kid for college. And if you're doing that, hats off to you. You're a great woman. Stop playing these stupid-ass child support games, all right? I'm Ed Lover. This is my Come On Son, the podcast. I approve this message. Till the next time, man, y'all be good. Keep God first. Everything else will fall into place. I'm going to talk at you, to you, and about your ass on this next podcast. Be good if you can. Be good. Be careful. Be careful enough to wear condoms so you ain't got to go through these child support problems, okay? All right, cigarsinternational.com. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. Thank you, Cigars International. Thank you, Krista Hayes. And thank you, everybody that works on Come On, Son, the podcast. Come on, son. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm out. This Ed Lover podcast is being done in conjunction with Cigars International. Make sure you check out cigarsinternational.com for all your cigar needs.
This episode of Come On, Son, the podcast is produced and engineered by co-executive producers Kimana Paulus and Krista Hayes. Recorded at Mean Street Studios in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. This is an official Loudspeakers Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast.